Aaron Finch, Fakhar Zaman, Dawid Malan. Those were three of Pathum Nissanka's nearest neighbours in T20 internationals from 2021 to 23. It doesn't sound like the worst group, especially for a young batter. But both Finch and Malan were once ranked number one by the ICC, and while Fakhar might not have maximised his potential for Pakistan, he's had a very solid PSL career and was also second in the ICC rankings back in 2018. But by 2021, we're talking about late career Finch, who had a pretty steep fall-off, and Malan, who was great for England to begin with before a regression to the mean. And unlike the PSL, Fakhar really only had two noteworthy years, 2018 and 2014, for his country. These are not players you want to be matched with at that point in their careers. Pathum Nissanka was a timid, technically correct player who looked short on confidence and overly reliant on a method of just staying in. When he hit a boundary, it was from a grammatically correct check drive. He was made for uncles sipping tea to nod at in appreciation. But then Nissanka would pull, and Sri Lankans throw their pull like a punch, and he is one of those. But for a long time, he would only play the shot when the ball was completely right for it, and often just to rotate the strike. Now, when he pulls, it is for the knockout. Bangladesh were already struggling when he came out to bat in the Asia Cup clash, but his pull shot from Mustafizur Rahman almost ended the contest. Nissanka's nearest neighbours are from a far nicer part of town right now. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. If you want to be part of the community that makes content like this, head over now. The Good Areas conversation never ends over on our live channel. Head over and watch it all there. The pull shot is an attacking weapon in cricket. But Nissanka didn't really use it that way against the Tweakers, striking at just about a run a ball until 2023. Since then, he has upped that to a whopping 281. That transformation is like going from Jacques Kallis in early T20s to present-day Abhishek Sharma. And yet, his false shot percentage actually went down from 29 to 28. He is pulling the slower balls with much more control than before, while smashing the lacquer off the ball. Against fast bowling, he was pretty handy when pulling the ball even before 2024. He had a strike rate of that of close to 180, but it was at the cost of frequent dismissals. But still, he's managed to go from 180 to 220, and he's now getting out less often. So he's done the dream, unleashed more power from one of his best shots, and isn't being dismissed as much. It used to be his fifth most used stroke, and now it's second only to the cut shot. But Pathum's pull is only part of the story. He has shown commendable improvement as a T20 batter on a lot of other metrics as well. To put it simply, since 2024, his raw strike rate and average have improved by about 25 and 34%. There really wasn't much between his true values against both bowling types in his first 3 years. He was an anchor who really didn't give you many runs, and now he's scoring fast and staying in. Nissanka has gone from a player who is nice to look at to one who is nasty. Some of this is just coming into his peak age, but this is a different player than before. Nissanka made his international debut in all three formats just a few months before turning 23 as part of the Mickey Arthur years. Before he was picked for Sri Lanka though, his T20 average was 26 at a strike rate of nearly 130, a low-scoring anchor. After being below par in his first two domestic seasons, this is actually before the Lanka Premier League as well, he had a strong run in 2020, which was his last tournament before selection. And he wasn't too bad in his first year of T20 internationals. He had a true average and a strike rate of about 6, which isn't elite, but shows potential. And after only 3 knocks in bilaterals, he was opening the batting with Kusal Perera in the T20 World Cup in the UAE. In the tournament, he was Sri Lanka's second highest run getter behind Charith Asalanka. However, his scoring rate was the worst of all players with 100 or more runs. But he did pick up 350s, all of which were batting first. Again, he was the team's second highest run getter in the T20 World Cup in Australia. Again, no Sri Lankan scored 100 runs slower than him. And again, he also made a couple of first innings 50s. His worst year for the national team has been 2023 by a distance, though it is only from 6 innings. At that stage, Nissanka was scoring more runs while setting a target, but batting faster in the second innings. He was almost like 2 different players. But that is nothing compared to now. He's batted a lot less in the first innings since 2024, but the true strike rate has gone up from -4 to almost +10. However, that has come at the cost of some runs. Chasing is different. He was slightly above par when he first started, and now he's absolutely, without any doubt, world class. You just don't want to put a target in front of Nissanka because he becomes a player and a half. It's like he's putting on a Virat Kohli costume. He's a different player entirely than 2023 and earlier. There are some caveats on that. He only played 3 out of 41 innings at home until 2023, which is an extraordinary career blip. 17 of his knocks in the first 3 years were against India and Australia, so he went up against quality bowling early on in his career, mostly away from home. That is about as bad a start as you can have. But Nissanka is an all-format player, and so we can see the improvement is everywhere. In his first year of ODI cricket, he played 9 matches for 86 runs. Last year, he blasted 210 runs in 1 match, not out, against Fazal Haq Farooqi and Noor Ahmed. Before his 4th innings ton at the Oval, he crossed 57 times but scored only 1 century. From that point, he's converted 3 of his last 4 50-plus scores into hundreds. This is a different man now. He's also played 17 of 24 T20 internationals at home since that first run. Batting in Sri Lanka in T20s, though, isn't really an easy task. So his improvement is real, and it can be seen in all 3 formats. But this is also certainly a better situation to be in than a young man on the road, often against the world's best teams. The only T20 franchise competition he plays in is the Lanka Premier League. His first season was a nightmare. He made only 56 runs at less than a run a ball in 5 knocks. But he's never been anywhere near like that before. He's well above par on true strike rate in the next 3 seasons, with a negative true average only once in 2023. In the last edition, his true strike rate was an incredible +17. It shows a clear shift in his speed. This is a new, updated man, something we haven't seen before. For him to make a double 100 in ODI a few years back, he would have needed to bat in all 100 overs. In T20 internationals, he starts slow and then gradually scores quicker and peaks in the 11 to 15 ball period. There is a drop-off after that. And that approach is a lot like most anchors. Settle in, play your shots, and knock it around once the field restrictions are over. But what's really fascinating here is that both lines have a very similar pattern. The key difference between the period before and now is that he's upped his strike rate in every 5-ball interval, almost exactly the same. And another thing that we've noticed is he starts even faster in the first 15 balls when there is a target to be achieved. And once he's done that, in the next 10 deliveries, he slows down even more. It could just be him trying to consolidate in a run chase, but he does actually speed up again between balls 26 and 30. So I think it's fair to say that he's still an anchor at heart. And he hasn't really changed his style of play. He's just upskilled to become a much better striker all the way through the innings. This screams of a player just growing up and feeling like he belongs. He hasn't changed his game, he's freed it. Before 2024, Nissanka struck at below par rates in the first 6 overs. It improved between overs 7 to 16, while he maintained a similar true average of around 5. He also has a sample size of 50 balls at the death, where he has a strike rate of 37. This tells us of what he could have done, but now he's actually showing it. In the last 20 months, he's been the real deal in the power play. He has scored runs consistently at a speed like never before. He strikes at 152 against spin and almost 140 against pace. He's much more leg side dominant against the spinners, and his most productive region is the mid-wicket zone. He's particularly ruthless when pulling the ball in the first 6 overs, scoring 28 runs from 7 balls. This pattern shows why he's so hard to bowl to if you're a spinner. This big wedge at mid-wicket is not one shot, but 2. If you overpitch, he slog sweeps you for power. Plus, he can conventionally sweep too. If you bowl a defensive length, he's so quick with a back foot and he hits you with a big pull shot. But also, look at backward point. He's still scoring more than 2 runs a ball in that area. It means he has the ability to cut and guide the ball. And so he has 4 shots in 3 zones to hit boundaries. And I think he had all of these shots before, but just not the software updates to use them. When he's facing the quicks, he's again scoring fastest from the pool. It means he's striking at high rates in the square leg and fine leg zones. But he's also one of those annoying pullers of the ball if you're an opposition captain, as he can pull from fine leg to mid-on. So setting fielders against him is really hard, especially in the power play. He also has a great flick across the line. It looks technically correct, but it's kind of a lofted weapon. On the offside, the cut shot and the cover drive are his most commonly used options. So if you put two sweepers out to leg, he can still pierce the offside. His uptick in the middle overs is not as extreme. He scores faster against the seamers than the spinners. And once again, it's the pull shot that fetches him the runs at the quickest clip. Having watched MV play footage of him, he can actually score quicker against the spinners, so his theoretical limit is higher than his performances so far. True dots to sixes show Nissanka used to be great at minimizing dots and taking singles against the slower bowlers, but he couldn't hit boundaries. Since 2024, he's still above average at taking singles and exactly par at playing dots. His upgrades have been hitting fours, but he's chucked in some sixes as well. It's like he's been reprogrammed to hit and clear the rope. Against seam bowling, Nissanka was slightly above par at fours, but now he hits 23% more than expected, and his rate of hitting sixes has also increased quite a bit. Players dream for something this simple. Coaches often joke that a batter should play the exact same, but with more boundaries. Nissanka 2.0 is that. So who are his nearest neighbors now? Has he upgraded his postcode? According to his recent stats, we have him near Joss Buttler, Shubman Gill, and David Warner. That's quite a jump. He's not Tilak Varma or Dewald Brevis, but he's a pretty good company now. He's been updated to Sri Lanka's best T20 batter since 2024. He's literally pulled himself into a new zone, but yet still stayed the same aesthetically pleasing old school stylist. In ODIs last year, he averaged 63 at a strike rate of 106. His scoring speed in tests has gone up from 43 to 69 since the start of the previous WTC cycle. It's like he's a video game character where you can just add boundaries as a new skill. To get faster in one format might be a glitch or a technical change. This man has sped up his entire game without sacrificing anything. At the moment, he's one of the best all-format openers in world cricket. And that makes his rise in T20s even more special, because it's not easy to adapt to all three formats, even more so in the modern game. Pathum Nissanka used to be a guy with a high first-class average, pushing the ball into the covers. Now, he's clearing deep mid-wicket with vicious pulls, and yet still scoring runs, more than ever. He's 27, so it's possible that this isn't the final model, and that there are actually still more upgrades left to find. Are you as chronically online as Moses Enriquez? Then here's another video for you. Or if you also like books and stuff, you can buy my new one on the art of batting. If you loved this video, hit the bell icon to be notified for more.